rise and shine.
So I have two methods to wake myself up every morning. One is a sunrise alarm clock that gets lighter right at the time that I set it to wake me up, so that's its full brightness. And my backup method is this $10 alarm clock. It's super loud. I think I'll get louder, but I think it's low on battery because I haven't charged it for 2 years since I bought it. Also, it is 3:45. The first thing I do when I wake up is I make my bed. I find that it helps to make me feel organized and get me in a productive mood. I used to go to a sleepaway camp every summer where they would have us make our bed and tuck in the sheets and everything, but just this basic laying out of the comforter I find is something that makes my room look super neat and helps me get on with the day. What I like to do in the morning first is drink some water because I find it energizes me. I also take vitamin D. In the mornings, what I usually do is I just take my contacts, put them in, take out my retainer, floss, brush my teeth, and then take a quick shower. I use an electric toothbrush, so I find it to be a super great investment. It just makes the process so much better than a physical toothbrush. I can't really explain it, but after I brush my teeth, I also make sure to scrape my tongue. It's the plastic tongue scraper from any supermarket. It just helps to get rid of bad breath because a lot of the germs in our mouth are on the tongue and we often don't get to them when we just focus on the teeth. Also, if you want to see what the bathrooms are like, this is one that's shared with the floor that I live on. There's the basic shower, and then there's sinks, and that's pretty much it. What I like to do now is go for my morning skincare routine. I use a prescription cleanser in the shower, so my skin gets pretty dry from that, so I start with moisturizer usually. I'm just using CeraVe moisturizing lotion. After that, I use azelaic acid, which is something to treat redness, but it is prescription. And then I just put on a sunscreen. It's sort of a habit. I know that the sun isn't out right now, but it also has a moisturizing effect. And I find that putting it on is a good habit. It'll protect me from the sun at least a little bit more than not putting on sunscreen. So I just do it every morning. And for that, I found this Korean sunscreen online. I don't know if it's gonna focus. Hyaluronic acid watery sun gel. It gives a sort of dewy appearance without looking oily, so that's why I use it. What I like to do now is I like to stretch for 10 minutes. I usually just follow a YouTube video that I'm gonna link, but it's a full body stretch and I find that it really helps me feel ready for the day, but it also feels good to know that I'm doing stuff that's good for my body because I literally struggle to touch my toes, but I feel like I'm making progress. I really push myself to stick to this habit of doing the stretches for 10 minutes a day, and I find that I feel really good about it afterward. Over the weeks that I've done it, I think it's really been beneficial. Okay, it's been a few hours, so now I'm going to get ready and get breakfast. And that's my morning routine. Hi guys, this is Michael from the future, and I wanted to do a little recap of what happened in this video because I feel like it was a little bit all over the place. To summarize my morning routine, I don't usually wake up at 3:45 a.m. or 3 a.m. or any time around that. I usually wake up around 7 or 8, but I did want to test out what a really early morning routine would look like. So that's what I did in this video. I woke myself up with my favorite alarm clock, and in the video, it was actually almost out of battery, so I think a few days later, it actually didn't work, so I ended up being late for class. But if I turn this on now and I get the alarm to work, it's pretty loud, so that's what I use. Also, every morning, I don't believe I showed this in the video, but I do weigh myself, and that's just to make sure that I'm sticking to healthy eating habits and that I don't gain or lose weight too quickly. I also take vitamin D every day, or any prescription pills that I'm taking for whatever my doctor prescribed me. I specifically took vitamin D because my levels were a bit below average, but once I started taking them, my levels were in a good range. So what I recommend is that if I can't get something in my body through a change in my diet, I would just recommend taking a pill. I got a vitamin D pill from Costco and I take it every day, and then it helps me stay within the healthy range of vitamin D for my body. So that's what I do. Besides that, I also do a 10-minute stretch every day, and again, I link this down in the description for anyone who wants to follow along with this routine. The stretch has really helped me to become a more flexible person. I also feel like it really calms down my body and relaxes my body every day. By doing the stretches, I not only feel physically better, but also mentally better. I feel like I'm doing something good for my body. By stretching every day and doing that full body stretch, I feel like I've really progressed in terms of treating my body well. After I stretch, I usually put contact lenses in. I find that it's more convenient for me to wear contact lenses, so I just wear the same ones every day. Unless my eyes happen to be really dry, then of course I would wear glasses or put in some eye drops before putting in contacts. But in general, what I like to do now is to wear contacts for the day and then take off my glasses for at least a couple of hours, usually before I go to bed or when I'm at my desk in my dorm working. In terms of eye health as well, there's also recommended by my eye doctor a certain type of antibacterial wipe that I can use to remove crusties, for example, that form around my eye, and that helps to prevent things like cysts from forming, which can be super annoying to deal with. So although I don't use them very frequently now, I'm trying to at least use them once in a while, because I feel that my eyes are in a much cleaner state when I do use them, and it also helps protect my eyes because I do wear contacts very frequently. After I put my contact lenses in, I brush my teeth, and I do floss. I usually floss once a day at night, but if I don't floss the night before, then I do floss in the morning before I brush my teeth, and I take my retainer out as well, which I wear every night. But besides that, I do highly recommend an electric toothbrush. As I mentioned in the video, the power of an electric toothbrush is just so underrated in my opinion, and it makes the process so much more easy than using a physical toothbrush, which is why I ended up using and sticking to an electric toothbrush. Although it is necessary to charge it, it's not a big task to do so, and I find that the benefits far outweigh the drawbacks of an electric toothbrush. The one thing about an electric toothbrush is that I need to replace the head of the toothbrush every few months when the bristles get a little dull, but in general, with normal toothbrushes, they should also be replaced every few months when the bristles get dull, so that's not really a disadvantage of an electric toothbrush. After I brush my teeth, I do usually shower. It depends on whether or not I showered the night before, because if I showered the night before, then what I do is I just spray some water on my hair to make sure my hair doesn't look dry. If I don't do that the night before, then I wake up and do it in the morning. After I either spray down my hair or I get out of the shower, I then go through that whole skincare routine I mentioned in the video. That in particular uses the products that I mentioned, but I find that those few products, although they're just 3 or 4 things that I use, they do really help to make my skin look better. I think for example, azelaic acid makes my skin appear much less red, which is a thing that has worked for me in particular, but for other people there may be specific prescriptions that can help their skin to look better. So I would just see a dermatologist to see what products will work best for you in particular. Now for the stuff that I didn't really show in the video, I do usually get dressed in my everyday clothes after I go through my skincare routine. In the video I just put on a gym outfit before, but I tend to follow a style that's a bit more on the formal side because I find that when I dress better, I feel better about myself. So in the winter, I usually tend to put on some chinos or khakis, some boots or sneakers, some long black socks, a white t-shirt, a sweater over that, and then a black pea coat. And then that usually is just something simple that I wear that is able to look pretty presentable and formal while also just being very simple to put together. In particular, I switch out the sweaters that I wear and sometimes the chinos that I wear, but I usually plan that the night before so that I don't have to suffer decision fatigue in the morning, which is when I have to make all of these decisions. So for example, by following a routine the same way every day, that reduces decision fatigue. So the brain doesn't have to think of what to do. And by picking out clothes the night before, my brain also doesn't have to think of what to wear. So I would look at the weather the night before and I would see if the weather is in a more cool area, then I would do that same outfit just in a different variation. So the pea coat, the chinos, the sneakers or boots, the sweater, what type of sweater, something along those lines. When it gets warmer, I'm still experimenting with figuring out a good style to wear, but right now I still have a little more free time, so I'm just figuring out stuff that works best. After I get dressed, my ideal routine would be to work for 2 to 3 hours before I get anything set with the rest of the day. I don't usually eat breakfast for now because I find that it takes some time out of the day, and I like to get work done before I start eating because I start to feel more sluggish after I start eating. So with that work for 2 to 3 hours, I try to get the most difficult task done first, or the most important task first. Oftentimes, I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't really get done in that way, so I would wake up before class, I would get that morning routine done up to the stretching, and then I would go through class for 2 hours and then get lunch after. So oftentimes, I'm not perfect, it's not ideal where I get to focus on my priorities first, but that is something that I work toward. And with breakfast / lunch, I usually just get it at the local dining hall, and I try to stick to a very filling meal with very few unhealthy foods. In particular, I like to eat chicken, tuna salad, white rice mixed with the tuna salad is also so good, and some mixed green salad, along with some fruits. So I do go out of my way to the supermarket to buy fruits even though I'm on meal plan. I have a huge sweet tooth, so I usually just pack some fruits for the dining hall and wash them there after I finish my meal, so then I'm not tempted to eat the desserts that are given at the buffet style dining hall. So right now it's kind of winter spring, so I usually pack some blackberries, blueberries. I'm a huge fan of grapes. I used to eat a lot of dates, but I find that dates are very easy to binge on. They're a very high calorie dry food that can easily be overeaten. Fruits that aren't dried, that have a lot of fiber, just make me feel so much better about myself when I finish my meal. They curb my sweet tooth while also just not making me feel as sluggish as I would feel if I ate, for example, a pastry like a cookie. Although everything's okay in moderation, I find that sticking to that sort of healthy meal setup has allowed me to stay at a good weight range while also just making me feel energized by my meal rather than slowed down by it and able to tackle the rest of the day. So that is the full walkthrough of the 3 a.m. morning routine by a Brown student. I hope you guys enjoyed this different style of video. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you next time.